Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is Joanna Vendi and today we are going to see how we can get our bootay jiggling and moving, because I know a few of us are either, thinking, at least considering ourselves as flat or too muscular, and that we can't get it moving and we end up looking a lot like this. So not to worry, there is hope. Even if you do what I'm doing, we can always upgrade. Importance is to have fun. So let's get started. So as you can see, this is a voiceover and I am in comfy pants that are very loose and they're flattering because the type of material it is allows me to move. So make sure that you have pants that allow you to move and cover wherever the areas that you want it to be covered. It could be booty shorts, it could be what I'm doing right now, which is rolling up my shorts, but maybe not, because that would take away, especially if you are like me and you need that thigh motion to really propel your bum. So what I'm doing now is calf raises, as I'm sure most of you know, and I'm going ahead and just simulating a jump squat. I don't have a lot of room, but what I'm showing is the force for calf raises and the force for jump squats are up. So if you want to go ahead and try that out and just see what I'm talking about, it goes up and you're going up. Now, the thing is, for making everything wiggle and jiggle, right, it's a force into the ground. So these football runs, which I'm sure you've seen before, have a lot of force packed into it, tight little tiny steps, and they're really digging deep into the ground. So if you go and try it, you're on the balls of your feet, just like I'm doing. And we're just going to do it slow to begin with. And we're going to pick up the pace, gradually adding more force. Use your hands and really sink into there. Bend your knees. Really push that force, right? And then ramp it up as fast as you can go. And when you hit that peak period, you'll feel that your bum is nice and airy and things are moving. So this is just a back view. By the way, sorry if I'm sounding like I'm thinking. This is recording afterwards, and the recording thing is right on top of the video, so I can barely see. Anyways, you can see me here really getting into the feet, really pushing into the ground on the balls of my feet, which is the pad right under your toes, and that is creating the jiggle. Now, take a look at this. So when you bounce, right, you could think of it like a baby. When a baby is bouncing, obviously they're off bounds because they're learning how, but you're just free and moving. Everything is jiggling, everything is bouncing. So naturally, anything that is not bone, so anything that is soft tissue, anything that is muscle, anything that is fat, essentially anything hanging off of your bones are going to jiggle, whether you like it or not. And so if you go ahead and do a little silly dance like I'm doing, and I'm really just shaking it out and loosening myself, you'll see what I'm talking about. We don't get enough of, silly time anymore. So go ahead, jiggle your arm, jiggle your bootay, and just play around with it, and you'll see what I mean. So I'm just bouncing. My knees are slightly bent, and I am working on that jiggling force. Now, I know this may be unconventional, but if you look at my chest, yes, we all have chests. It's bouncing, obviously, and it's going to take quite a lot of force to make it bounce. And I know everybody here knows what I'm talking about. If you have a chest, or if you have more fatty tissue there, when you run downstairs and you have to hold your chest, to keep it from hurting, that is the motion, because it's going boom, 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 it's jumping all over the place, right? So propel the chest is a really good indicator. Am I giving enough force? And that's why high impact sports bras exist, which I am clearly not wearing, and that's fine because I'm teaching. So I'm just gonna wrap my pants so you can see the knee, and my knees are a little bit pointed outwards. Feet are just shoulder width, just more than shoulder width, right? Like we're doing a nice squat press or something like that, and I'm bouncing. So now a lot of people get stuck here because they think, I'm bouncing, I'm doing the mechanics, and I'm not seeing anything. Now, I used to be where you were, and I definitely wanted to learn how to move and jiggle, and it just wasn't happening because I was stuck in this phase. Like, I had a little bit of bounce going, but I didn't know how to, make it bounce. Definitely not to Caribbean standard, and I definitely got a ton of laughs. But that's okay, I'm taking the brunt for you, and we are going to learn together. So this is what I like to do. I like to put both arms up, and I'm staying in that same position. I had my feet out and knees are slightly bent, and I'm bouncing. You can call these micro bounces. And the thing that's making it really go, aside from pushing into the floor, which I stressed in the beginning, like you have to push the force down instead of going up. It sounds counterintuitive. The weight is on the balls of my foot, that flat pad right under your toes. That's where you want to be. So you're kind of leaning forward, even if your feet appear to be flat. Now, it might take a while for you to get this down because it's a lot of moving parts. But once you do, I promise the magic happens. Now, if the arms are too much for you, or you really just want to focus into pushing into the ground, bouncing into the ground, jumping into the ground, put your hands on the wall and just practice that jumping that we were doing before, but really push into the ground. So when I said I was jumping up with my calf raises / jump squats, that's jumping up. Jumping down is like someone is holding you into the ground and you're still jumping, but you're jumping into the earth. Like, think of transferring the energy into the earth instead of up. So this is what it looks like from the front, what I was doing before. It's the exact same thing. I'm bouncing and I'm letting myself be loose, right? Look at the chest that's moving. Look at, actually, no, that's probably the best example because that's where I have the most fat aside from my stomach, which is nice and tucked underneath just for today. Love my stomach, but I just wanted to emphasize the bootay. So keep bouncing. And yeah, I threw in a little pattern there, but you could see how when you play around with the rhythm of the bouncing and you add pauses, that's where you get the fun choreography from. But again, everything comes down to your feet, your knees, and pushing down. Now, those are probably the 3 things I would say, like technique-wise, aside from the loveliness of the thigh, which is something I discovered because for me, I wasn't blessed with a natural, phat badonkadok. I have more of a muscular type flat at the top. So it doesn't jiggle the way that, when you think of bouteilles jiggling, mine does not. So I had to think, how are these twerkers, how are they doing it? How are these Caribbean girls doing it that don't have as much fat? Or, which is what it is, to make it jiggle. So the thighs, using your thighs and using it to propel is where you get the magic for the under booty, which is why for me, booty shorts that show just the part of my under booty, like 3/4 shorts, those are perfect for me because you can still see the outline of my bum. You can tell that it's muscular, but the part that jiggles the most for me is at the bottom. So when I use the thighs to propel myself, it makes the booty look really good. So you also have to scan yourself and say, what's my booty looking like? What's the proportion looking like? How much fat do I have here, right? Because everybody has fat, everybody has muscle. It's just, what is the proportion to me? And of course, all of this would be mute or non-existent if you're not confident, if you don't let your inhibitions go. So you're gonna have to, if you want, close the door, do it by yourself, put on your favorite song. I have a playlist of Caribbean music in my Instagram bio, in the link there, in the Linktree link. But even if it's, I don't know, Megan Thee Stallion, whoever you like, right? Old school hip hop, something. Get into the groove, tune out distractions, because often a lot of time we can't do it unless we have alcohol or something else in our system, because that's breaking the inhibition, that's breaking the inability to be able to do the movement. But when you're moving from a pure freedom point of view, fun point of view, no judgment point of view, you'll see how a lot of you can do this and definitely can make it move. It's just something there that's mentally blocking you. And once you figure out what that is, you'll get it moving. So good work.